face crack, runway game is on. Drag race is the truth. Bruno sue me for this parody. You read it, the cringes, you read it well, the cringe is real.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Jean from You Read It Well.
Hola, hola, hola. I am Sam from The Cringe is Real, coming to you from Santiago, Chile, where it's
How exotic.
stunningly gorgeous.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. What a lovely location to talk about this really fun episode of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the world.
It was a great thing
Yeah.
to watch on the flight over, and I've just arrived. And what better thing to do than talk to you about it, Jane?
The jet-setting ways. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Honestly, this episode was fucking perfection. Like,
Mhm.
and not just because our girl killed it, but just what a great
Mm.
episode. All killer, no filler,
Yep.
laughs per minute were high. Yeah, I feel like there was like a mini challenge as well. It was great.
Mhm. Yeah, it was almost like a textbook episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. In a sense, if you were to teach an episode of like how to put together a story and like stakes and setting our expectations, it really was like a beautifully constructed episode. This team is really good. This UK versus the world, the writers, I'm really impressed by them this season.
Absolutely. And like the roast is like the best. Like we love the roast, but then to do this wedding spin on it was fucking genius. Like the Graham and Michelle like beard wedding of it all, like endless treasure trove of funny possibilities there, which everybody lent into so well. And I liked as well we got like Catherine Ryan was so good, by the way. Finally a guest judge that I know and
Amazing.
love from Taskmaster. But I loved her advice was really good. She asked everyone to just like lean into what they're good at. And then the result was we got 5 different styles of comedy, which I
Yeah.
enjoyed immensely.
Yeah, it's very tricky, difficult challenge. And roast culture is very much a part of an American tradition of comedy,
Hmm.
and that's touched upon in this episode. But I feel like everyone in their own way stood up to this challenge and showed a little bit of excellence, even if it wasn't their forte. Like they didn't lose their footing. It's really easy to just get full stage fright. Let's just face
Oh,
it. Like, one
totally.
joke doesn't land, and it's just
It's all
there you go
over.
into a spiral.
And
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of cool to see.
and like no one really like bombed. Like Scarlett was probably the weakest, and it like wasn't hugely funny, but it wasn't like hard to watch. Like sometimes we get on this show where someone just doesn't get the
Oh,
assignment. Like at least she like had the confidence to like pull something together. Yes, it wasn't as quick fire as Hannah or Tia. But like yeah, they all do well. And Tia, like she said, was kind of battling this kind of expectation from the UK girls to be really kind of like banter heavy, and that's not really her thing. She's more into the dad jokes, and I love that that was
100%.
encouraged. And then we ended up seeing something that we haven't really seen before on this show, and I loved that.
Yeah, it was great. And the thing with Tia is, they called it dad jokes as a way of explaining. I mean, they really are classic one-liners. Like that, they might be on the daggy side,
And
but that's what
daggy
she does.
puns, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Which
she
like they're
does.
not really in vogue, but you know.
But Tia Coffee is not really like someone you can sort of like. You wouldn't go, that's the person who's going to become famous. Do you know what I mean? Like Tia Coffee's like a sort of bit
Hmm.
of a surprise packet sort of individual, so Tia's not going to do what's in vogue. Like Tia's just working out that, hey, if I just like am completely myself, everyone will love me. And that's like the cool revelation for Tia Coffee over these 2 seasons of Drag Race. But yeah, it's not in fashion at all.
We love to see it. So the episode starts with the mirror clean. Scarlett is like, I'm here, but my dancing
Mm,
partner isn't. Ugh, awkward. Marina says, I hate to send her home, but I kind of already gave her one chance and you don't get a
yeah.
second one. So, you know.
Marina's the most matter of fact contestant on this thing. Like, it's like, I feel like, yes, she finds it a challenge to choose people, but she's also like, we're here for a job and I'm excellent at
hmm
this. And it's sort of like she just, I think the decisions aren't as hard for her because she's just like, look, that's the game.
Well, then she does the little Miss Universe face and she just gets away with murder.
So
It's
good.
so great. Uh, Scarlett has had a taste now of what it's like to be in the bottom and she does not want to have it happen again. A little bit
Yes.
foreshadowing there, unfortunately. And Le Grand Dame says that Marina has 3 badges
Oh
and that
man,
is
those
not
badges really
okay.
stick out like when they're in their civilian clothes. Like, it's just like boom. It's like, oh my god, we can't give her
Yeah,
another one. It's like it's not gonna seem like there's a competition.
she's like a decorated war vet. It's really quite a sight to behold. Oh my god. Then, okay, this
Mm,
I was gagged by
mm,
Hannah's lipstick. So I really thought Hannah's lipstick was gonna
mm.
say Teresa. And then when she pulled out Scarlett, at first I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, she's
Mm.
shot herself in the foot. Like that's gonna, now she's gonna have this target on her back. But then I was kind of like, actually, fuck yeah. Like, you know, she's playing the game
It,
and I don't know, Scarlett doesn't really seem to have like fully showed up yet. So I feel like
I
it's
mean,
valid.
out of the two of them, which way do you go? Like there's sort of arguments for both Teresa and Scarlett in this comp. It was a little bit gaggy. Like it's always gaggy because you've got to just face down the person that you've potentially have kicked off the show. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably would have chose Teresa, but also like Scarlett hasn't. She's
Hmm.
done some good stuff, and when Scarlett's camp and fun, but we haven't had that much opportunity to see Scarlett this season, so it's interesting. It's an interesting one. Yeah,
I think she voted with her
yeah,
heart, and I think as we saw last week, Hannah and Teresa
yeah,
had a very
yeah,
close bond. They really,
yeah,
really were tight through this show. So I think it was more like she just could not bring herself to pick Teresa's lipstick because she wouldn't be able to live with herself. So I think it
yeah,
was more that than anything. But also, I kind of love a bit of a
yeah. Also, like I
yeah
just don't, I
jab
just
to
don't
the
vibe
American
with you.
Queen.
Sorry, like it's kind of like. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, not an American dominant season
Yeah.
at all this season at all. Yeah.
No. And as Hannah points out, now in the competition, we've got 5 queens left, and it's everyone for themselves. No one's got a fellow
Yeah,
country sister to lean
yeah.
upon, which is great. Um, she's like, it's gay rights in action.
She's just so good at those one-liners that are gonna make the edit. Like, she's like, "Here we go. Here's another one. Boom, bam, boom." She's just seems so ready to deliver these lines that we'll get in the edit, whether she's in the room or in confessional. I'm just like, well done, Hannah.
Oh, this was her week, and we kind
Yeah,
of saw it coming
yeah,
last week, didn't we? In the promo, we were like, this is Hannah's week. Being goofy is her thing. Like, and because she's been so motherly and caring to everyone throughout, like, it gives her license to do the most mean
yeah,
roast
yeah.
and get away with
Absolutely.
it, I think, as well. Like,
Like,
and
and also,
mm,
like, I think honestly, just the maths of the program, like the logic maths that we all go through, we just need her to get a badge. So then when she's in the final, it's not like Marina with 3, others with 1, and then Hannah, like that. We can't have that now.
totally. Rue enters the workroom in a very strange suit with like a kind
Oh,
of
yes.
blue
Yes.
outline
Yeah.
on it.
I
I
did as
kind of
well. It was
liked it.
like, I'm 3D or something. I don't know. Like, it was a 3D cartoon thing or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
something or other. And she says, welcome officially to the
Mm,
semi-finals. So this is the penultimate episode of the season. So we're going to have a top four, which is great. And there's a fucking mini
love it.
challenge. A pretty budget one, but still very fun. They're asked to get into Hen's Party Quick Drag. This is totally Hannah's wheelhouse. Like
Yeah,
these characters, like in this episode, not only did she get to be like a drunk aunt at a wedding, like a cringy aunt, but she got to be a cringy aunt at a
big
hen's
time.
party.
Big
Like,
time.
fuck
The
yeah.
aunt that's the most fun, the aunt that you'll definitely invite to one of those things, the aunt that you know is going to like buy everyone shots, the aunt that's going to cut a rug on that dance floor. And like she was so insane.
And did she cut that rug? I'm looking forward to the gift. Please send them my way of her when she's asked to do the victory lap at the end, and it's
Oh
like,
my God.
fuck me,
She's such a
so
pocket
good.
rocket,
It was a
you
bit
know,
calf.
like she just is. Like it was just,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah. It was a little cafe
Oh,
night there at the end.
oh.
I was into it.
She infects our world, Cafe Night.
She goes, "Cheers, babes," after winning the mini challenge, and then RuPaul reveals the maxi challenge is the wedding of the century between Michelle Visage and Graham Norton. Who would have thought?
Weddings are just such a ripe area as well for just great characters. It really is cool how they've put this all together and how that the mini challenge connected so well to the main challenge. Nice writing, thank you.
Oh, and then also the runway. Like all the whole episode was like one theme. I don't think they've done that in
Yeah,
some time.
how
I can't think of another one. Yeah,
yeah.
really good. So as the winner, Hannah gets to decide the
Mm.
lineup. They always put this in there hoping there's going to be a bit of Lawrence Chaney style drama. But unfortunately for the producers, Hannah is very congenial and democratic, and she opens up to the floor and pretty much gives everyone what they want, which was
I
great to
don't
see.
know that the other strategy would have worked as well for Hannah anyway. Like the strategy of like just going, fuck everyone, I'm just going to do me. I don't think it would have worked
Hmm.
because I think overall, like, you know, when you go to comedy, as a comedian, I think you want everyone to do well because it helps with the vibe of the room and like, you know, like it's not beneficial
Yeah,
for people. I don't think in this particular context, you know, unless there was like someone who was so clearly a rival, you know, that you were like, I really want to tank that person, or a villain or something.
but that's not
Nah,
on brand for
nah,
Hannah. Like she doesn't do rivalry, she
yeah,
does sisterhood, and like she says at the end, she's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm the best wedding planner ever. Like I nailed
yeah,
this lineup," and I love that. She's like proud of the fact that she put on a good show, which is what we're all here to see.
yeah.
So I liked that. And this is what I'm loving about this particular franchise, mainly over the American one, but most of the rest of it is just the competitive energy. It's there, but it's not like consuming everyone to the point where they're
No,
miserable.
it's been
You know?
the attitudes this on display this season, and I wonder whether it's like the producers are setting that tone, whether they're like, okay, so like last season was pretty brutal, and although that was fun, like, or whether it's the queens. They just have come together
I
and
think it's
just
the queen.
decided that we're not going to
Like,
be cunts to each
yeah.
other. Is that it? Like,
Well, also, I think
yeah,
it's the casting. Like, you rock up and you see Gothy Kendall there. You're not going to be like, "Oh, game on, moles." Like, you rock up and you're like, "Oh, this is
yeah,
this is the fun
yeah.
season." Yeah. I'm enjoying the respite from I'm gonna cut, snatch the crown
Mm,
energy that we're especially getting from season 16, where like there was full on like people that actually hated each other, and it's carrying over to
yeah.
Twitter. And like sometimes I enjoy a bit of that Twitter beef stuff from the Queens, but this season it just feels
Mm,
nasty in not a
mm.
fun way. And I think they're young, they're too young, and they're too, I don't know, ego driven or something, but I'm not enjoying it
It,
anymore, Jane. Am I getting
no,
soft?
it's also just like, oh my God, what a marathon. You're just like another episode and another one. Like, it just goes for freaking ever as well. Like,
Oh, and you're like, who's that? Like, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I know what you mean. I feel for them because, yeah, they are young queens. The difference with you once you're getting into All Stars, and in particular this season of UK versus the World, is there's this, they've been sort of, you go out into your standard drag race and there's a humbling that goes on as well as, like, even if you've done well. And
Hmm.
so they've come around second time.
Mayhem Miller
Totally. And you come around the second time and you
was
go,
humbled.
these
Mm.
opportunities don't actually come around that often, and how am I going to showcase, as opposed to like the standard season, there's so many queens and they're just clawing to stay in, and I just, oh my God. And yeah,
Mm.
these guys are like, they've kind of passed that level of, like, I don't know, what did you say to me in the backstage of the club in London or whatever it is,
Totally. So we get a lovely rehearsal with
Mm,
Catherine Ryan, who is so good. And like, yeah, we don't get this often where it's not a stitch up. Like they're actually doing a genuine rehearsal and the guest is there to genuinely assist in making sure the show is good. And when that happens, I'm like, great. Because sometimes it does feel like we watch them, like when it's like a Ross Matthews or a
yeah.
Michelle Visage,
Mhm.
like directing the thing, and they just can't. It just cuts to them, and they just look really disappointed, but then they don't actually give the feedback. So it was nice to see some
Yeah,
genuine
I
advice.
think that it happens when they actually bring in a genuine expert slash professional in the area that they, that means that that person is passionate and cares. Catherine was just that perfect because she was like, she was giving drag queen, like, she I
The
mean, she just
looks,
seems like she's flanked by
wow.
the gays, like, constantly. I mean, like, she must be like a
Oh yeah,
magnet. So I feel like she was like, I can speak this language. I speak this language. Plus, I am a world class comedian. So it was great. I love a bit of great. Oh, I love some solid. It reminds me of Janixa, the director who came on that time a few seasons back in the US, and it was just like, oh, this is a real
that's
director.
right.
Like,
Can direct. Yeah, that was
yeah.
great. There was one piece of advice though I don't agree with, and it was regarding the use of the word cunt, which Le Grand Dame was asked not to do. And it was kind of funny because she said that they're not allowed to use that word on the BBC. I was watching on Stan, and they
Use
very
it.
much used that
It's
word.
like they
So
didn't bleep
so
it.
it was kind of
Yeah, it
funny
was,
to
like,
edit.
pretty funny.
Yeah, because they didn't bleep it on our version. So I was like, oh, there it is. Because us Aussies toss that one around probably a little bit too much. But there is this ongoing discourse in pop culture at the moment because there's some people that are just throwing it around, some people that obviously think it's quite insensitive. I know I'm probably somewhere in the middle. Where do you
Oh,
sit
I
on that
love
one,
it. I
Jane?
think it's such a useful and, like, fun, use it in moderation and use it where it's important and
Yeah,
with company that likes it.
but that would have been the
100%.
time. That would have been
And
the
also
one. Like,
it's the
and
UK.
I
I'm
think
sorry,
it's
they are not.
mm,
We're in the
exactly.
same ilk. I've heard Americans say that
And this
it's
was
it's a hard
yeah.
cunt in America and it's a soft cunt in the UK
Mm.
and Australia, and that it's, like, so true. Like, it just
So,
hits differently.
yeah,
I'm not saying
it's
you should
soft
say it
cat.
in front of your Aussie grandma, like when she's serving the pavlova,
No, of
but
course
I
not.
actually think
In front of your gay
yeah,
friends,
I think it's a very
absolutely.
useful word, but, like, I have friends in America who get really offended by cunt as a word, but I just think, like, why are you getting offended about a word? It's so useful. It's so pointed and specific.
And it just the jarringness coming from Le Grand Dame, who's like
Yeah.
so beautiful, it would have been really funny that juxtaposition, but it also could have been a risk because RuPaul does suddenly decide when
Yeah.
she wants to get
Love
offended
it.
by something. So I don't know, but like twat was not a like for like, and I think this is like Catherine obviously being an
Yeah,
expat in the UK. Like I think that was her like Canadianness coming through, where like she thought those words were transferable,
they
but
are
they
different things.
absolutely are not. So it fell flat because of that advice. Like either just cut the joke entirely or go
Yeah,
balls deep. Like
I'm sure
yeah,
that
and you could tell Legrand
I'm
Dame
sure
would.
there would have been another approach, that still could have had the same joke,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was yeah. Anyway, it was I love Legrand Dumba. I love her. I
yeah,
love
it's
her
me
confidence to
too.
give
But
it
it
a
threw
yeah
her
to
off.
give it a shot. She's just really got a lot of. She's like, okay, just like not gonna flap, make me flap, and I'm just gonna keep going. I'm like, wow, that's really impressive because
Yeah.
she's just like this beautiful clothes horse fashion, like, but also like a weirdo, and like maybe Le Grand Dame just needed to be more of a weirdo because that's where she really shines, right?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. They in the same episode they were like, Tia, you need to just like lean into you and like be you. And then to Le Grand Dame they were kind of like, oh, I guess French people don't really roast her. They just sort of do that all the time. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, well, then just let her do what she wants
Yeah,
to do as well. Like, I think it needs to apply to
yeah,
everyone. So, yeah, and it's happening week after week, isn't it? Like, we keep bringing it up on the pod where we're like, we love Legrand Dame, but they're not quite getting her. I think she's almost a little bit too
yeah,
cunt for the
yeah.
judges. Like, because she's operating on this level of like, I don't know, I'm getting it where I'm seeing her just being sort of like silly and obscure and
Mm,
vulgar. And I love that. I think it's yeah, it's the same way that like RuPaul did not understand
yeah,
etc. from
yeah,
season one of Down Under. Like RuPaul just did not
yeah.
understand that. It's giving that same
Which
miscommunication.
is so wild to me because I think Le Grand Dame is doing a great job of like translating herself for an English speaking audience and like, but still maintaining who she is. So that's why I feel like like she's got a lot going on and a really cerebral talent. Like clearly, like
Mm. Well, that thing, but they want to put her in a
yes,
fashion box, I
you
think.
could,
Which, like, sure, put her in that as well, but like, don't sleep on her humor. I think she's one of the funniest people
yeah.
on the show, but they're just not allowing us to believe
Yeah,
that or
the French
something.
sensibility is
Um,
really different as well. Like it's just not anything like an American, sense of humor, for instance, and it's certainly not as
mm,
dry as a UK sense of humor. But it still seems weird that it's like, I mean, she's so clearly like phenomenally good and has come so close to more badges, and then it's like, oh, I better just prove myself. I'm like, what?
mm, 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 mm. That was a really good LGD accent. Oh, this week, that deep voice. Oh my God. So Scarlett's rehearsal, she's they're kind of letting us know that
Mm,
she's gonna bomb because she doesn't do well in the rehearsal, but then also like it's kind of awkward because in true American fashion, she kind of just like doesn't
classic.
take the advice and she's very just like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. Um, I'm not worried, and it's like maybe it
She
should
she
be
does have this
because
confidence, doesn't it? That
yeah,
and this sort of seeming, I don't know
mm,
if it's like a cloak that she wears, but like it's a very like
mm,
laid back, like, yeah, I got this. Even like when she's doing the roast, like they cut to confessional later and they're like, she's like, I thought it was funny, which I always like, to be honest. If like someone finds their own shit funny, I'm like, well, I mean, you're batshit, but you found this little thing funny. But it's, you can't really say that about Scarlett. It's not like, she's out of control and batshit. It's almost like it's like she needs an iron tablet or something. Like she needs to just
mm,
pep up a little bit. Like, could you put, I know you're cool. Like she's very cool. And she's like, yeah, I've got these jokes that I'm gonna deliver. And like, honestly, on stage, backstage, she would just land all the time. I reckon people laugh at a shitload of what Scarlett says, but it's like it's so different when you put it in this context. Like you need like bit more quick fire, a
Mm.
bit more energy. Is Scarlett a stoner? Like, what is this vibe I'm getting?
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, she's like a safe pair of hands, I think. Like if you were doing a Work the World
Oh,
tour or some shit, she would be great because she'd come out and she like wouldn't do anything. She wouldn't do anything like inappropriate or edgy. She would just kind of like host very
I think so.
well, I think. Which maybe doesn't work in the UK because the UK they're looking for gritty, edgy, like
Mm,
inappropriate that line that you have to dance on. And like, yeah, her stand up material for this was all a little bit too sanitized, I
yeah.
think. That, like, yeah, would work well in like a big stage show thing, touring
Mm,
production or something. But in this, the roast is the one where you're supposed to just like go for it and like borderline offend everyone in the room. It's so
it
much fun.
is. I feel like it would have served maybe her well if she'd embodied a character. Like I think that really worked well with Hannah later. Just the fact that she just had this sort of like drunk aunt kind of persona. It might
Well, all her wigs are pretty terrible, so I reckon that was just one of her wigs. And she was like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah."
Yeah, I got this.
She was gonna wear it on the main stage, and she's like, "Oh no, I'll wear it as a drug card." Fuck. So, Mirror Talk, Real Talk. Scarlett is stoked she's made it this far. It's the furthest she's
Yeah.
gone in the competition. It's her third time
Mm.
playing. Legrand, Marina, and Hannah were all runners up on their seasons, so they're kind of like, we know what's up. And then Tia is so funny. She's like, well, I was a finalist if you stopped watching my season at episode 6.
Just
So gorgeous.
continues that very dry UK self-deprecating stuff, but she just does it in this way where you're not like it's not like oppressive or weird. Like it's just like you go, oh, just a little light joke there. Let me throw it in. Boom. Like I just think she's got such incredible talent for that. Like just it makes people feel at ease, like and feel safe around her. I think as well. It's great for
Hmm.
a performer, great for someone who's hosting.
Oh, you just want to be her best mate. Like, yeah. And then Hannah sort of starts to get a bit emotional. And I think this was interesting. She sort of opens up, but without being too explicit about what it's about. But I think reading between the lines, she didn't get a great reception from the fandom from Down Under, and it actually affected her more than she'd care to admit. And I think she thought it was the right moment. She was feeling safe with her sisters, and she's had this really great experience on this show that she didn't have on her show. She pretty much says, "I didn't have a good experience on my show," and I have heard this as well from other queens that I know that have been on Down Under. It's something about how rushed it is, or I don't know, the whole thing. It just doesn't sound like it's a enjoyable experience. So for her to get to do it again and have fun, and then now be kind of portrayed in the light that she would like, I think that's really good. Do you think that's what she was getting onto here, calling out the toxic fandom a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I really had no idea that like because she was part of Babs, like top three, like Babs with like with Queen and whatever. But those VIP meet and greets, they are apparently just absolutely rife for that stuff. I tell you what, they're not run very well, so that possibly has something to do with it. Like she's tiny, people are just walking past because they don't see her. Like they are honestly. I went to one and I was just like, this is the worst run like thing ever. Like people were not even meeting the people they wanted to meet. But yeah, I think she is kind of having a little bit of a go because she's obviously now quite into this competition, and we've seen from the start that she has not wasted this opportunity. She's relaxed right into the show. She's just been there and present the whole time, so it's clearly that she is having a better time. But she did well to cover it up in her season because she was one of the stars of like confessional of cutting to like she was a really a top notch
Yeah, but you
part
could
of the show.
see though, you could see on that season though that she was kind of like, I don't know, trying to mask everything with humor. She didn't have too many vulnerable moments. She opened up a bit about like being religious and stuff and breaking free from that. But yeah, and then she had that moment with Queen about, some mistakes that she'd made as a
Yes.
performer in the past. And so I think here she's talking more about like cancel culture and
Yeah.
how people just sort of jump on a bandwagon without really like thinking about
Oh yeah, yeah.
the person. And as we've seen, like she is the sort of person that has like grown and like she's done the work.
Mm.
And she's now this like really strong ally. So really nice story. Like I know none of that was explicitly
Yeah.
said in this, but that is very much what I took away from it.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is definitely that element. In the lead up to this season, I saw that things were trying. They were trying. People were whoever these people are were trying to blow up some controversy around Hannah going in, as if they were like,
Always.
let's cancel her before you go in. And a lot of those down under queens and a lot of queens like stood up and said, no, Hannah has done the work. Yeah, I mean, it is a relentless culture like that. It's just like it's like we're just people are just waiting to take other people down. Like, it's sort of like tall
Yeah,
poppy syndrome on fucking crack.
yeah.
That's what it is
But
now.
she didn't veer into that like kind of Karen victim thing. Because if she
No.
did that, I think that would rub people the wrong way, myself included. But
Yeah.
she just kind of acknowledged that it was hard for her, which I think
Yeah.
she's allowed to do. Um,
Absolutely.
like she didn't have a full poor me like moment
Yeah.
and make herself the victim because she knows she's not. She that's the thing. Like she acknowledges her privilege.
Mm.
Um, and I think it was just nice to see that like someone is willing to talk about the negative effects of cancel culture, particularly in this fandom. I don't know, in the other part, in like the straight world and stuff, I'm like all for it because I'm like gross. There's like people out there's like horrible transphobes and stuff out there. But
Yeah.
in our tent, in our like safe queer space, when
Mm.
everyone's going each other, I'm a little bit like, calm on, everyone. Like, take a
Yeah.
beat and like,
Yeah. There are
you know,
larger forces out there that we need to kind of
mm,
rally together a bit more. I mean, I like look, it's good to keep people accountable. There's been some news this week that's come out of the drag race, world. One of the, I mean, probably an open secret with Shangela is all just like
oh,
swirling
I've
and
not
blown
seen
up.
this.
Oh, it's been reported in like the straight media. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but
What
and
is it?
so,
Angela's account.
yeah, it's
Oh
inappropriateness.
yeah.
So
Oh yes, yes, yes.
oh yeah.
I'm like,
But yeah, like,
well, it's like all this stuff coming out at the moment about JVN from
oh yeah.
Queer
Oh my
Eye as well.
god.
Like, I love this. Everyone's like, yep, like fierce, like
Yeah.
gender fluid icon, but also can still be a cunt. And I like that we are entering an era where both of those things can be true.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
they need to be.
you know,
They need to be true. They need that.
the
Otherwise,
the
we're just
Alan DeGeneres effect.
they're going down one at a time. But JVN, I was like, this is the most believable. Like,
Oh
do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes
I'm
like things
happy
come
to
out and
jump
you're
on
like,
that bandwagon.
those allegations seem really weak, and like I don't think there's any that much weight, or like it's a mistake as opposed to. But this is like full blown. Like I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Mhm. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk on queer cancel culture. Back to the main stage. The theme is "Take Me Up the Aisle," which very funny. Whoever wrote
Very
that,
cool.
well done. "Take Me Up
Yeah.
the Aisle."
Yep.
I
Love
was chuckling to myself, and I
it.
wasn't sure if it was the several glasses of champagne I'd had on the flight
Woo.
or the fact that it was very well written. But I think again, both things can be true.
Hmm.
Hannah opens this roast and slays.
Just so in control. Like it's just to say that this is her wheelhouse is like such an understatement. Like she's just like, I got this. I can do this. I do this. And it was just it was a beautiful tone setting start to the show as well. And even her approach, like the way she sort of like, dished out to the dais, which is
Mm.
the panel, and then slowly went through each. I don't think she had one for Tia, or maybe they cut it out.
I
Uh,
reckon they cut it down. I reckon
yeah,
she had one for everyone.
yeah.
She definitely got through. She called Marina Summers a tiny horse, which was
Oh, that was
very
great.
funny.
That was great.
She said she's had better conversations with her own asshole than Legrand Dame because she's inaudible, and that Scarlett has unleashed an assault on her own face. But I love that. Yeah, because she fumbled some of the delivery, but
Mm,
it was kind of in character because
yeah,
she was kind of playing a drunk aunt. Like and she never looked at her notes. It was just like all there, and she knew that it was like dot points that she just
yeah.
built on live in front of us, and I think that worked. Um, I personally loved Awful Wedded Wife.
Very good.
With a
Very good.
small gag at the start, but I was like, that's a good one.
Yep.
And I think her best joke was, oh, there was two. The system of levers and pulleys holding up RuPaul. That was like so good.
Yeah.
And the one at the end about Michelle's pussy being filled more times than her and Catherine's lips was very good.
Yeah, Hannah just excelled so much. I was very pleased that the prophecy of this episode is coming true. Because she deserves it. She deserves that showcase of what Hannah can do. Because Hannah can do a few things. Got a few things up her sleeve, but this is like classic stuff. So I was really pleased.
What did you think of Legrand Dame's frozen twat?
Look, I think I'm quite tickled by Legrand Dame. I keep thinking back to her being dressed as Jean Paul Gaultier in like earlier episodes, and it just makes me laugh. Like it just brings a smile to my face. Yeah, it
Yeah,
did. Like a lot of her jokes didn't land, but she just
she
kept
should have
going
done
up.
a character as well. She
Yes,
would have done
yes.
better as a character.
I think honestly
Yeah.
they all should have. Because I think that just helps you. You're at a wedding. Which character are you
Mm,
at the wedding? Are you like the drunken bridesmaid who wants to get laid? Like, are you like the inappropriate uncle? Like, there's just so many
mm,
great
mm.
weddings are just so. So I think Legrand Dame would have benefited, but yeah, like a freight train, she just kept going, which
She
that's
kept
what you got to do.
going. Yeah, she did like look at her notes a lot, and
Yeah,
they were very much showing us that in the edit.
yeah.
I did really like though. My favorite joke of hers was when she was like, "Oh, Catherine Ryan, the guest, whoever she is. I went on your Wikipedia page and it said page not found." I thought that was very funny.
That's really good.
And when she was like, "We've been trying to lift each other up in this competition, but we couldn't do it with Hannah. We just couldn't lift the bitch up." I thought that was good too. But between that, there was a few fumbles, but again, I honestly think it's because she, unlike the rest of them, was told to reel it in.
Yeah. Yep. The others were
And like, how are
told
you
to
gonna excel? Yeah.
lean in, and then it's like, oh, you can't. And I think, like, swearing, as she says, that like it's a comfort area for her, and feels natural. So I think, like, yeah, like just that little note probably did throw her off a
She
bit.
should have done jokes in French and then like translated them to us like we're idiots
Oh my
afterwards. Like that would have
god.
been fucking like pretending that she's at like a bilingual wedding or something.
Yeah. And
That would
like
and hand up the accent. I don't know, like
a
something
Parisian
like that.
like snob or something who's just like,
Mm,
I see
who
that
doesn't want to
this.
be there?
Yeah, and like, this is the food that you're serving. Can you believe the bridesmaids' dresses? That could have been really funny.
Yeah, because I guess if my timeline is correct, this would have been they wouldn't have seen Jimbo doing the roast as Joan Rivers yet. Because I feel like that's just opened the
Yeah,
floodgates now, and
yeah,
everyone's going to do characters at the roast from now on,
yeah,
which is a good thing. But yeah, maybe they weren't sort of like no one's really thinking that way right now. Maybe Hannah a little bit.
yeah. I think,
Um,
like, LGD has just just a few more things, like because you're just trying to translate yourself a little bit as well. Like, so she's like, she's got the added element, and I keep saying, like, of not speaking English as a first language as well. So it's just sort of, yeah, it would be
Mm.
cool if they were kind of like, I think Marina is able to like bring her own language in a little easier than
You
Legrand.
mean Mabuhay,
Mabuhay,
Mabuhay? Let's
mabuhay.
get on to that because
Yeah,
I thought that was a cute gag. I didn't think it was delivered particularly well,
no,
and I thought she harped on it for a little bit too long. But like clever to bring in a cultural reference, like she's been doing the whole season. She's educating us
yeah,
on Filipino culture, and fuck yeah, this is her moment to do so. So good on her. Her best fucking joke, which I actually think was probably the best joke of the whole night,
mm.
was about Scarlett only being there because she's pretty and white, Legrand Dame only being there because she's pretty and white, and Hannah's just here because she's white. I fucking screamed. People on the plane were wondering if I
Something had
was
happened.
unwell.
Oh
It
god,
was that is a perfect joke.
yep, yep. Marina's got a really great comic sensibility. Like, I really do feel that she's quite naturally funny. She was all like, I'm not like, I'm scared of comedy,
Mm.
and rightly so. Comedy's fucking hard, but like,
Oh,
she did a
she,
great
she
job.
did the right thing though. She was punching up, like
Yeah,
how good, and also, but she did it in a really genuine way. I don't know. To me, it was just like, yeah, it was what we needed. Um, and again, I would love an extended edit because I think she probably had some other zingers in there that we didn't get to see.
yeah, and like, that Mabu High, that's just something that like Rue can lock onto and love, like, that's the thing that they'll bring that up again. Like, she's been very good at planting that
Would
shit
you
that gets
say it's
thrown again.
branding, Jean? Is
Yeah.
it branding?
She's been very good at but effortlessly, like really just like
Yeah.
where it
Oh,
doesn't
there'll
feel
be
like
Mabu High Bridge magnets for sure.
but like when some people
Bam.
come back in and you're like, okay, we get it, brown cow. Okay,
Oh,
we get it,
the
sponge.
sponge queen. Oh,
You're just like, oh, this is not that good. But her stuff is
yeah.
like substantial. Her things that she's dropping are like, oh, you can use this for sure.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Scarlet. So help me out here because I actually can't remember a joke. I've just got in my notes that it was a little bit cringe and poor babes, but her delusional confidence remains intact. But I can't remember a joke.
I've watched that part twice, and I don't. She's one of those ones that sort of just what kind of like you can like look down for a second, look up, and then you're like, oh shit, I missed.
Oh, she called Legrand Dame like a vampire. She's like, she
That's
hasn't
right.
seen the sun. And I'm like, uh, not, yeah,
I
if you're
mean,
going to do
like,
physical humor, like, she's not the one because
yeah,
she's
like
like
she's
fucking
like
hot.
the hottest vampire ever. Like, like what are we talking about here?
Hottest bitch there. And you're going to go for like her being a bit pale. Yeah, I just didn't think that was, yeah,
There
really
wasn't a
great.
much oomph to the actual jokes. Like, I just don't think they were substantial. Look, it's hard to write these one liners or these like little. They are really 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 difficult, And I think she was just a bit sort of low key across the board. Like, she's like, well, I find them funny, so kind of thing. It's like, okay, like, can you?
Do you know what I think it highlighted for me was that she's not close. She hasn't grown close with the cast like the rest of them have
Oh
because
yeah,
it takes a certain degree of comfort with
yeah,
someone
intimacy.
to make some self like or not even like to make jokes about them. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think it shows that she hasn't connected, bonded, whatever you want to call it, with the other girls to the same extent.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
think so. And Hannah has basically said that. She's just like, well, just don't vibe with her
Mm.
like I do with the others, And I think that's very true. And I think I do think that Americans struggle in this space a little bit. Like, it's really out of the comfort zone, like out of the comfort zone, and it's different. Like, yes, they're
Well,
going to
because
be
when they
treated like.
do it, they're being really serious, and they actually say mean things, and you're like, oh.
So true.
And
It's like,
you're
oh,
like,
Jesus.
hang on.
I mean,
Yeah, it is. It's just a different sensibility.
I mean, roasts are an American tradition. They are often very cutthroat, and maybe the context in UK is like slightly different. I don't
Well,
know.
I would say that the roast style humor, like maybe America needs that as the excuse to do it, whereas I
Yeah,
think most like UK comedy is just like that all the time.
I know.
Don't you think? Like,
I find
which
it
is
funny that
great.
we don't have a huge roast culture in Australia because essentially that's what we do all day and night is just teasing people and like
Hmm.
that's our sensibility and yeah, Americans are more sensitive just across the board with this sort of stuff. You know, you can offend a lot easy. Like we're harder to offend
Yeah,
in some ways. You know, so
yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. She needed more jokes. Like you could pack in so many jokes in that time, and like it's like have just a heap more ready. Just oh that didn't work. Let's go to the next one. You know, like it's just sort of like
We also just put like a blanket ban on just calling RuPaul old. Like, I don't care how fresh the spin on it is. I just think it is done.
it's
Done.
done. It's done,
Put
and
it to
it's like
bed.
yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, could we like try not with the ageism? Like, you know, like because it is always so nice when an older queen comes into the competition. Like, you're like, this is cool, you know.
Oh,
And then
yeah. Unless
and
you
then
Jimbo and you know how to smash it like in the dick and just kind of like almost make fun of the fact that everyone always does those jokes. Like, if you can do that,
yeah,
do it. But
yeah, that's high
yeah,
level shit. But that's high
low
level.
hanging fruit, darling. Tia Coffee burnt the room to the ground. I've
Arguably
writ-
the
I've
best
writ-
of the night. Arguably the best.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so good. You
For
know,
different reasons. Yeah.
yeah,
So she wasn't playing a character like Hannah,
yeah,
and she wasn't doing the traditional roast. She did like yeah, it was wordplay.
yeah.
And from the start, like Graham, Eurovision. No, as in you host Eurovision. Like that was funny. And knowing that he is a big fan of Eurovision, I was like, that like that was a joke for us, you know, like
Yeah,
the geeks at home watching, being like, oh.
yeah.
Um, my favorite was probably RuPaul. You remind me of my mother. She's dead. Like
That's great.
that was good. That is
Yeah,
how you do a call RuPaul old joke, but like with a spin on it. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Just completely contradicting myself here. And then she did the little Spice Girls thing down the line.
That was fun. That was really,
Clever.
really fun. Yeah, it was just Tia doing what Tia does best. Like literally, you just show that to someone, and that's like this is the sell for this queen. Like you know, like it was great.
Mm. It's also genius because we know famously RuPaul loves a bit of wordplay and a
Oh,
bit of word. You remember have we all forgotten Mexicatessen? Can I just bring your attention to Mexicatessen for 5 minutes?
oh, that's
It's
funny.
like Tia Kopi was like, do you know what? I'm gonna just take Mexicatessen and turn it into a like the Toulouse joke. Like she's like my favorite city in France because you know
That was
that was
great. That Toulouse
because she's
joke was
going
awesome.
Toulouse,
Yeah.
and RuPaul like squealed at
Yeah,
that joke.
that's a good joke. Like that
Mhm,
is like top
mhm.
notch shit. Yeah. No, I'm just I'm delighted for Tia. I just think this could have gone Tia's way if they weren't trying to tell the Hannah story of like Hannah should be there and have it with a
If Hannah
badge.
didn't have those fans,
Yeah.
you know, Hannah didn't have props. Okay, the runway. Uh, firstly, Catherine Ryan's quips throughout this runway were exceptional to
Oh,
the point
top
where
notch.
they were editing them in like so many of them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that means most guests must say this much stuff, and we just don't see it because it's shit. But like
Yeah.
she had jokes, and they were like another one, another one, another. Like, it was good.
Comedians come prepared, and if they don't come prepared, they're not. They, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have like 10 for each, like boom, 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 boom. She was great. She's perfect guest judge
Oh,
and host. I loved, I
yep.
loved it.
I was like, get rid of Graham. And honestly, like she's in the rotation with Alan for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Just my personal taste. Hannah comes out in a classic but stunning wedding gown.
Hannah's mug, wow. I mean, like, she just knows how to paint. Like, this is just a very beautiful, very elegant, very expensive looking, lovely. I love strapless on Hannah. I think because she's so little,
Hmm.
it works really well. It was very good. You know, there's not
Yep.
not much you can nitpick with that one.
And it showed a bit of variety because she's been doing camp a lot this season, so it's good to see
Yeah,
her just do gorgeousness.
yeah. Like, look, after the
Legrand,
cat,
sorry.
after the cat,
Oh,
after the gold
fuck.
cat, I'm
Can
just
we
like, thank
never
God.
mention the cat ever again? I've tried to forget about the cat, Jake. I'm
Okay.
trying. Le Grand Dame comes out in like fucking hell. This was like a Björk
hmm
album cover
This is
photo
like
shoot. Like,
Björk
wow.
performing
Mm.
cornucopia in one of her
Yeah,
like
yes.
custom like things and the custom masks that she gets
Mm-hmm.
made.
Mm-hmm.
It
With the
was
tulle ruffles. Yeah.
oh, it was
Surely that was the reference, right?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely it's got to be it's got to be, but it's also kind of Gaultier, like Gaultier had
Yeah.
that. It's kind
And
of
of course
Alexander
she couldn't be
McQueen, like
white. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Of course she was like, there's no way I'm doing anything that resembles a wedding dress. So good on her.
Beautiful.
Um, Marina, of course, comes out representing her culture in a
Mm,
gorgeous, quite understated for her
hmm
look, but
Yeah.
still, I think the real power in this one was the face and that headpiece with the
Yes.
dangly
Yes.
jewels. That was like the wow moment because the outfit itself, I think she was going for like realness with the
Yeah.
traditional tribal thing. Maybe she didn't want to, I don't
Yeah, I
know,
think it's a
play
respect
with that
thing.
too much out of
Yeah,
respect. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I think it also possibly doesn't play, but that texture of the outfit, I mean, hand woven would have been beautiful in
Mm-mm-mm.
person, but it was she's so teeny tiny, so we get used to her wearing this kind of real structured thing to make her look larger than life. But yeah, she did look teeny tiny in this one because it didn't have that sort of exaggeration, but everything
Mm.
fits so well, like so perfectly, like on her hips, on her shoulders. Like she's really like next level in her presentation.
Really good. Scarlett, I actually really like this camp
Oh yeah,
Vegas wedding thing. I don't think she sold it very well in the presentation or something. That was when I was almost like, is she giving up a little bit?
I think she's a bit tired this episode. I think her
Mm.
energy was a bit low. So because yeah, you want to be like bugger
Because
burning
that look
love,
was
like
also
yeah,
really
like
cool.
yeah, it was sort of like serial mum. Like it was giving me a bit
Mm.
of John Waters. It was giving me a bit of like lots of things. It was super camp. I love that
Yeah.
as they call it, the
And it was
yassification of
Americana.
yeah
So
of
yeah,
Elvis. Yeah, it's
yeah. So she
yeah.
was
So
doing. Mm.
she should have leaned in. Like if you're doing Americana, where's your bombastic? You got like
She should
larger
have
than
been
life.
pregnant.
Oh
Yeah, like it should have been Shotgun Wedding and she should have been like Trailer Trash or something. That would have been fun.
yeah
I'm actually surprised Hannah didn't go down that route, like a Bogan wedding, but I'm kind of glad she didn't.
yeah yeah.
Tia though went that and outer space. So it was sci-fi alien wedding with a see-through womb. What the fuck? So good.
Yes,
I
I
love
loved
this.
the angular stuff, like around her face, the headpiece, it's just really cool because, like, it's like her wackadoo ideas, like just coming into a more realized full form, not being made by experts. Don't know why there was an alien, but I was like, I'm into it.
This is where you've been saying this a bit on this pod, Gene, about how like the collaboration
Yeah.
of it all with like the queen working with the designers. This is a really good example, I think, of like a queen delivering an insane idea to a designer and then working with them and constructing something
Yes.
really cool. I don't
Yep.
know. It's something that I feel like Lazy Susan would do. Like take the theme and refuse to participate in the theme and
Yep.
instead just like do something else that's better.
Yep. Yep. It was an absolute fantastic night for Tia. Look, it was great.
So good. Crits and Delibs. Hannah's 5 stars. They love she can take the piss of herself. Le Grand Dame. They're like, look, you weren't the best at the roast, but they loved the look. But every
Mm.
week they do. Why are you gagged though?
Hmm.
Marina, they loved the energy and how she rolled with it and just kind of kept afloat, which was good. Especially she did underpromise and overdeliver, didn't she? She was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not the funny one," and then kind of
Mm.
was. So good on,
Yeah.
well played for that.
Yeah.
And it's a top two. The top two is absolutely no surprise. It's Hannah and Tia, but the gag this week is that the rest of them are in the bottom.
So there's that opportunity to take out someone like Marina, which would have been a Pangina nightmare come true
Mm.
again.
Is
Yeah,
that
it's
why they
interesting.
gave us this? Because we haven't had that happen yet, and they were like,
Hmm.
"Let's try and maybe give that opportunity." Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and there's three great, like any one of the people going, you're like, "Ugh," but like, yeah, like I mean, they could have been playing for the game, like but I know Hannah was sort of saying, like, it's a clear path to the crown, like when we were in the sort of, delibs, like, with, and I'm like, I don't
Like,
know
calm
if it's
down.
quite a clear path to the crown if you take out Marina, but she's right. Like, it does change the game significantly if you took out someone as huge as Marina Summers.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, I thought Hannah was so funny
yeah,
in the Untucked bit because she was like, "Oh, Marina," she's pretty much told her like, "This is my opportunity to take you out," and I felt like watching, knowing the cultural context of it, I was like,
this is
Marina should
Australia.
know now that she's safe. Like
Yeah,
that's Hannah telling Marina that she's
yeah,
safe.
yeah,
But
100%.
I don't know.
It's the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
Australian thing ever. You're right. Like, it's so funny how Australian that
It's the
is.
most
Like,
Australian thing ever to just be like, oh, like looks like I'm getting rid of you. Like, yeah, just
yeah,
really silly. She's not sold. Like, I think she knows that as well,
yeah.
but she does give the camera a little bit of a, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, look, yeah, after the Pangina gate, it's like, what could happen? Euphoria,
Yes.
one of the best songs of
Yes.
all time. So, like, I could not have asked for a better episode, Jane. I was about to
Yep.
cry when I saw
Just
that, but that could have been the
the
Valium
the
that I'd taken on the
the
plane at
Valium, the
this point.
champagne, the jet lag.
Yeah, like
Perfect combo.
I was like, amazing. We
Yes.
get Euphoria and Tia, like huge Eurovision fan. She would have been like
In heaven.
dead
Yeah.
when she read that.
Yeah.
But and look, they both had props. They both had twirls,
Can you
but Hannah
explain
had
Tia's props? Can you explain what?
So she said it was an homage to everyone that had been eliminated. So there was like a shamrock that I assume was for Jambres. And then some other
Ah,
bit, I don't know, some other bits and
didn't
bobs. I don't know.
play.
I thought it was a bit convoluted. Didn't
Yeah.
work, obviously. And yeah, Hannah just whipped out some bloody fans.
Can I tell you, those bloody fans and her bloody performance was the draggiest motherfucking thing I've ever seen. It
It
was
was great.
drag. It was just such
It was
classic drag. It was so
fucking drag.
drag. I was just like, oh, this is so good. Like, because like firstly, she was really getting the song. I think she really got that core emotion. But once the drama of those fans, it was like, and
We
the
were
blue,
screaming.
I was living, and I was like, this is Sydney Mardi Gras 1992. Like, I love this so much. Like,
It was really good. Yeah, and look, it's playing to your strengths. It's
yeah.
like when Maxi whipped out that microphone.
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm gonna park and bark, but I'm gonna do it with a fucking camp as fuck prop, and you're all gonna love it. Like she
Yeah.
just captured the camera, kicked it in the dick,
Yep. Yep.
and then finally someone had the balls to put Scarlett's name on the lipstick. Did you? Were you surprised? I was like, 100% she's gonna do that.
Yeah, no, it just made sense. It wouldn't have made sense to take out any of the other competitors. Like what, Marina or Le Grand Dame? Like, no, thank you. Like, no, 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 no. Yeah, no, it
No.
was no, 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 no. Yeah, I think this is a season of like it all making a bit of sense in terms of the storytelling. They're just like, yeah, we do have the power, but it just seems like the maths of Drag Race. Every episode, you're like, pretty much yes. That there hasn't been like an episode where I'm like, I think maybe Jonbers was a bit of a shock, that elimination, but
Mm-mm.
it was, yeah, like it was Scarlett's time. Scarlett wasn't quite excelling in the way that the others were, but she was so convinced that she'd done better. She's like, "I've done better," and I'm like,
Yeah, that was weird. She was a
yeah,
bit like, "Oh, I was good." And hey, next week is like a reunion type
I
deal.
know,
It's a
yeah,
reunion and a lip sync smackdown for the crown
yeah.
and a reunion. That'll be good. And it looks like there's a little bit of beef, but I don't, who knows how real that is. But
Yeah. I mean,
we shall
it didn't seem like
see.
a beefy season, but you never know. You never know how pressed they are. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this last episode of UK versus
Me
the world.
too. Really
Yeah.
good season. And yeah, look, I've seen some stuff online. Like people are really loving the season, but they're not like it's not like iconic. It's not fucking. There's no gay rattle on Twitter
Yeah.
losing their mind for it. I'm just really personally liking it because it is, yeah, it's sisterly and it's like a warm hug, and I think I need that right now.
Yeah, I think it's just drag excellence. It's just a really
Yeah.
great showcase for some of these queens, and I'm really excited for those queens who are getting that really
Oh,
big spotlight.
and the top four, like honestly, they're all really good and all really good for like polar opposite different reasons.
Yeah, it's a very diverse in every like meaning of that word. So I'm excited to see how this last bit plays out.
That shakes up. Who's your money on for the
Marina,
win?
I think it's Marina. I
Really?
think.
Okay. You're gonna do Rena. I'm gonna do Tia. I
Woo!
just think I don't know. I think she's
I don't know.
the sweetheart
It's a
of the
lip.
season.
Yeah, I know, but it's a lip
But
sync
oh, it's lip sync.
for the
True.
crown. It's a lip sync for the crown, and
I don't know what those songs are.
depends on the songs. Depends on the songs. We'll see. We'll see.
I can't wait to see you next week, Jean, and we'll talk about it, and then it's over. Bye bye.